what's actually pushing companies and organizations to transition to these skills-based models as opposed to traditional role-based and job-based? So what is really pushing them? What pushed you guys at StanCharts?
No, I mean, I'll talk a bit about our journey in a while, but to me, all of this work has been based on a very critical insight, which actually is in the introductory chapter of the book. The book starts with the insight that the way organizations are structured today across sectors, I'm a banker, I work in a bank, but I'm also involved with retail in a big way. I'm involved with medical pharma. If you look at across sectors, the way companies are structured today is a product which is at least 140 years old. So the post-second industrial revolution. So this idea of factories, reporting lines, organizational hierarchies, job descriptions, and it's almost 140 years ago. That's when it was documented. It actually started even earlier. But this idea of jobs being a currency of work. So the way work flowed post second industrial revolution is to this idea of jobs, and which had a job description, and this idea of a box that sat around an individual and sat in a box. If you look at everything that's happening in the world, the big macroeconomic changes, geopolitics, the massive technology disruptions, what's happening with climate change, etc. So if you look at all of that, and people talk about us being in fourth industrial revolution, this idea that how could the way organizations be structured continue to be relevant when the world is changing at such an astronomical sort of pace? And this idea that there's actually been very little change. Yes, we have spoken about agile methodologies and agile ways of working, but actually fundamentally companies haven't really changed the way work gets done. And that was the insight that led to a lot of the work that we started doing over 5 years ago now at Standard Chartered. But this idea of if we are to not just respond to all of these changes that are happening in the world, but actually thrive in the context of these changes, do jobs continue to be the currency of work, or do we challenge ourselves on skills becoming a currency of work? And if skills were to become currency of work, what would that mean for our operating model? How we structure ourselves, but most importantly, how do we create the infrastructure where work flows to skills as opposed to traditional jobs? And I think that was where a lot of our original thinking came from.